Can I help you? Can I help you? Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Bad Decisions and Pure Awkwardness. I'm your host Elizabeth. Today, as you might know, I've been away for a while. This is Butters. Say hello, Butters. Good boy. He's a good boy. Kisses? No kisses? No kisses? Thank you. Love you. Butter says hello. He's causing menace as usual. Today we're gonna do a little get ready with me, and I'm gonna talk about some things that have been going on, and hopefully this won't be my last video for a while, not like last time. So yeah, I've already primed my skin. I'm using the Elf Skin Whoa Glow. It's like the dupe for the Super Goop. What's it called? I don't know. It looks exactly like this essentially, except I think I forget what the Super Goop is called. The Super Goop one has more SPF in it. This also has more of a white base than the Super Goop. For me, that works fine. I'm paper white. But for someone with a deeper skin tone, I'm not sure if it would work. So you might want to try it like on the back of your hand before you put it all over your face. Then I'm using my Milk Hydro Grip, which is what I always use because I have oily skin and this always works for me. I also primed my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. It's probably my favorite primer at this point, my favorite eye primer. My eyeshadows usually stay pretty much all day, so that's what we're starting with. Also going to be using the, this isn't a new eyeshadow palette. In fact, I think they have a newer eyeshadow palette now, but it's new to me, and this is the Serenity palette by Cosmic Brushes, and it looks like this. It is so bright and pretty, just right up my alley. I've played with it maybe 3 or 4 times now, and I really like it. I also have the Muse palette, which is like my favorite palette this year. I'll go ahead and say it. I've used it a million times. It's my most used palette this year. As you can see, I've hit pan on one of the shadows and hit close to pan on a couple more of the shadows. But it is just so beautiful. I don't know that I've made a video with this one yet, but I can if that is something that you would like to see. Also, I had to take the sleeve off of my Serenity palette. Like, I usually keep the sleeves on palettes like this, just to keep the front looking nice. As you can see, it's already got like some stains and stuff on it, but it was way too tight for some reason, and I couldn't get it off, so I had to like break it off, like tear it off. Also, I now have 2 palettes because this first one that I got came broken. I'm not gonna like open it too much, but you can see the one shadow is completely broken. I'm gonna try to repress it and maybe send it to a friend. Annika, if you're watching, that one's for you. I'm gonna try. I'll try that today. But my new palette is not broken, so yay. But both very beautiful palettes. Yeah, I think I want to do something with my earrings. Like, I'm thinking like, I'm wearing like lime green, so we might as well go lime green, like maybe these 2 greens. And then I'm thinking maybe the purple, question mark? We're gonna try it. I think it's gonna look really cool, but that's just me. Also, my room is a mess, so it's like so unorganized. I need to go through and like get rid of some stuff and like just declutter, and I'm in the process of that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the video, but yeah, let's just get started. Oh, I'm also drinking Mighty Swell hard seltzer. Really into hard seltzers right now. This one's grapefruit. They're pretty good. I actually really enjoy them. I'm not a big White Claw fan, so don't suggest White Claw to me because I think they're gross. I think they taste like stale LaCroix. Just don't like them. But these have a good flavor, and it's grapefruit, which I normally don't like grapefruit flavor, but this tastes like actual grapefruit and not like artificial like grapefruit flavor, so I like it. So just a trigger warning, and I feel like I say this like every time I like leave and then come back. You hear noise, it's Butters trying to look out the window. But I say this every time, and it's like my mental health sucks. And that's why I haven't been on YouTube. And that's pretty much what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm sorry that that is the fact. And that I'm always talking about how shitty my mental health is, but it's true. I do struggle with some mental health stuff, depression, anxiety, PTSD, to name a few. But I've also been struggling with some other things going on, which, again, trigger warning, we're going to be talking about mental health stuff. I'm not going to go dive deep into the thick of things, but I will mention like what I've been going through, and kind of give you, I don't like to get too personal in these videos, just because like I know people I know watch these and it makes me a little uncomfortable. It's been a year. So I'm not gonna like talk about what I'm like putting on my eyes. I'm just gonna do it just so we can get through this in a quick manner. So yeah, 2023, as I said, has not been kind. And I don't want to like pretend. I know that there are people out there that have had it a whole lot worse than me. I know that. I deal with that on a daily basis at work. But it has been very, very stressful. And the reason I've been gone for so long is because I was trying to like focus on like getting myself through all those things, and then like solely focusing on like getting myself out of those things, and then, you know, trying to come back to the things that I like. And that's something I'm going to talk about too. So the first thing that happened was, and I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, I'm pretty sure that I had a couple videos about my teeth. My front teeth were damaged, to say the least. So this tooth and this tooth came out of my mouth, and then this one cracked almost down to the gum. It was like right here where it cracked. So I've had a lot of dental work this year, which now my bill is like insane. It's like $3,000 for everything that they had to do, which they had to do root canals on both teeth, and then they had to essentially put a crown on this tooth here because it was almost completely gone. But among those things, like a lot of other things happened in between. Like I had to wear a splint to keep these teeth in, so because they were super loose. I had like a partial or a temporary crown on this one, which was like almost, it looked like a chiclet. It was like it was like down below this tooth, so it didn't look like supernatural or anything. But yeah, I had to wear the splint. There was some confusion with the splint about like when they could remove it, so I ended up having to wear it like longer than expected, which sucked. I couldn't bite down on anything hard, so it made it really difficult to eat. I was eating a lot of soft foods. I was eating like a lot of smoothies, a lot of like protein shakes, and I just never felt like, just never felt good. Plus, I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of pain, especially in the first few weeks. I was kind of like asking the dentists, like, when, well, I went to the dental school, so the, I guess, residents, I was asking them, you know, when is this gonna stop hurting? And they're like, it should be fine. After the root canals, they said, you know, in a couple days you should feel better. Well, mine lasted about 5 days, and like, I know that there are people out there that have been through way more extensive things than I have been, but it's the first time that I've ever like had to deal with something like this, because I've had like good teeth all of my life, and I like kind of bragged about that. And maybe this is just karma, like telling me not to brag that I have amazing teeth. But I did. Anytime I went to the dentist, it was always like, you have great teeth, and like, your teeth are so healthy. Oh, we can tell that you floss and blah blah blah. You know, it was always compliments and everything. And so this was very traumatizing, to say the least. The whole ordeal of getting my teeth knocked out of my face, like, really freaked me out. And like I said, it was very painful, and all the work done afterwards was really painful. And actually still I have a little pain. Like, this tooth is just very sensitive. They said, you know, it could take up to 6 months to like fully heal. There's been some like shifting in my teeth, like this tooth has shifted. I noticed it like one day last week. I was kind of like freaking out because I was like, why does this tooth feel so weird? And I just realized, you know, like, it's just shifted a little bit. It's like turned a little bit. So I'm still dealing with stuff. It's not as bad by any means. There were some behind the scenes things that were really traumatizing too, that I'm not going to get into here. And it was just really upsetting. Still, they told me, still try not to bite into anything hard, because of the longevity of the crown. That just ensures that it's gonna like last longer. I don't really know much about like how long crowns last, but for some reason 10 years is in my mind, and I'd like to keep my tooth as long as I can. I'd like to keep this crown as long as I can, because it was very expensive. So yeah. While all that was going on, I had some issues with Waffles, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video, where Waffles just suddenly became like unmanageable. He was fighting with Butters all the time, like to the point where like I had to separate them. He was just like going after him for no reason, and it was really scary. And he even went after me a couple times. And this happened back in September, October, beginning of October, end of September-ish last year. And took him to the vet. They said everything was normal, just give him some like calming, like CBD kind of things. And I tried all that. That seemed to work for a little while. And then this started back up in like January, where he was acting, for lack of a better word, like crazy, like just nutty, and would come after me and Butters and like attack us. And it was awful, and it was really scary. And so I took him back to the vet. They basically said like, well, there's nothing wrong with him like physically, so let's put him on some medication. So that's what they did. He was on trazodone, I think, for a minute, and then I can't remember the name of the other drug, but that seemed to help. And then I was going to Asheville, North Carolina for my friend's 40th birthday, And I was really worried about leaving him and him having to take medication and them having to give him medication, because he's like, he'll fight you and you have to put him in like a towel, like a burrito, in order to give him medication. So I contacted my doctor. I said, this is what's going on. They said, we'll try like weaning him off, seeing how that goes and seeing how he acts, and he might not need the medication anymore. So I tried that. He's fine. Everything's fine. So I'm thankful for that. He's, you know, better. And now I know, like, anytime that happens again, what I need to do, and just give him the medication, and, you know, he'll be better. But it just sucks. And it was really stressful, and I was worried that, you know, I was going to have to, like, give him away, or you know, like, rehome one of my cats, and I would hate to do that. Like, I was literally crying about it like almost every day, because those cats are my babies. They are literally my boys. That was like my last resort, but it was something that was in the back of my mind, like, I might have to do this and I really don't want to. And I would cry my eyes out if I had to give one of them up. So glad that that is like over. And like, I still don't know what it was that caused him to be like that, but it was awful. And I don't know if he was picking up on like all of my stress and all of my like emotions and everything, and it was like causing him to act out. I don't know, but it was very chaotic. I was really having a hard time with it, obviously. Like I said, these boys are my babies. Like, I don't want either of them to be rehomed. So, like I said, I'm really glad that that is like resolved, and I have like a solution. I have medication if I need it, if, you know, he needs it again. So we have like solution for that problem. So yeah, that was another thing. Now that I'm like talking about all this, like, I can feel like the anxiety building inside me, because like I'm realizing how stressed out I really was. So on top of all of that, I also got sick several times. Stomach issues, which is like a day-to-day kind of thing for me. But also I got like a really bad cold or something, and so that was like really frustrating. Like, I don't like being sick. I don't like feeling like I feel guilty whenever I'm sick. So I hate calling off work and that kind of thing. So yeah, that really sucked. And plus, like, the weather was really bad that day. So like getting there was getting to a doctor's office was like a nightmare that day. So it was just pure awful, like an awful day. But then, ooh, my eyebrows are a little red. I just plucked them right before this video, so hopefully we can cover that up. Anyway, I also got, okay, so you've probably had canker sores before. There's the sores that get in your mouth, like in the sides of your mouth, and then you like accidentally bite them and it hurts like really bad. Or like on the inside. It's on the inside of your mouth, the canker sores are. Well, I get them quite frequently. I have one in the back of my mouth right now. I'll explain why in a minute. So I got this giant sore in the back of my throat, like all the way in the back of my throat. So I noticed it on a Friday. I was supposed to be somewhere on a Saturday, like to help out. And it was like really important that I be there. Texted my cousin who was a nurse, and I said, hey, like, what does strep throat look like? And she told me, and she was like, I don't know, it kind of doesn't sound like strep throat, but you probably shouldn't go to where you're supposed to go like the next day, just in case, like, because I was going to be like talking to people, like face to face to people. And now that COVID has been a thing, like, it's a little like nerve-wracking whenever you're sick and you don't want to be around people, you don't want to get them sick. So she's like, I would stay home if I were you. Well, the next morning I woke up feeling crappy anyway, like feeling like I had like the flu or something. So I texted the person I was supposed to be working with and let them know, hey, I think I have strep throat. It's probably best if I stay home. Went to urgent care, and he took like one look at it and he's like, it's not strep. He's like, I don't think it's strep. We're going to test you anyway, but it's not strep. He's like, what I think it is a canker sore. I'm like, you can get a canker sore in the back of your freaking throat? And he's like, yeah, you can get them anywhere in your mouth. I'm like, great, that's perfect. Like, it was hard to swallow, it hurt to eat, hurt to drink, like everything, like even water hurt. It was awful. So, like, of course, of all people, like, I would get like a canker sore in the back of my throat, like, of all places. So again, I was eating and drinking soft foods and liquids, like a liquid diet for like 2 weeks, which I was already tired of from my teeth, like eating soup and smoothies and that kind of thing. Like, I was so exhausted from that already. And then that happened, and I was just like, I just want to be able to eat regular food for once. And so, yeah, that was not fun. And I don't know if you know anything about canker sores, but I've read that if you tend to get canker sores, they're from like poor dental hygiene, which I've already talked about. Like, I have great dental hygiene. Like, I love flossing. Love it. It feels so good. And I brush my teeth every day and all of that. So, like, no problems there. But it can also be caused by poor nutrition. So, you know, in the midst of all of like, you know, my stress, all of like the literal trauma, physical trauma that I had been through, I started, you know, falling into this deep depression. And it really took a toll on my mental health. Like, and I started falling into some bad habits, some old bad habits, which involve eating disorders. And I won't dive deep into like what that was, but I will say that would cause poor nutrition. So I'm not like out of the woods with that yet, but I'm working on it. And yeah, in this deep depression that I had, I kind of wanted to like, I wanted to be around people because like that's what like makes me feel better ultimately, is to be social and to be around my friends. But I also wanted to isolate because I wanted to isolate because I was embarrassed and I was really feeling like defeated and hopeless, feeling like I'm ashamed because I felt like all these things were my fault, which now I know, like, of course, not all these things were my fault. I also want to mention that I got into a minor car accident, and that was really stressful because it was taking a long time to get my car fixed. And then ultimately, when the day that they were supposed to give me back my car, they told me, nope, we're gonna go ahead and total it. So I waited like almost a month. I think a month. Yeah. I waited a month for my car to get fixed. And then the day that they were going to give me back my car, they said, no, we're totaling it. So that was a whole ordeal because then I had to pay, my insurance wouldn't cover my rental after a month. I had to pay out of pocket for the rental, which was very expensive. I paid for that for about a week and a half, which if you know anything about rentals, that can add up very quickly. And I was like, you know, really strained for money at that time anyway. So it was very stressful. But so while I was, you know, looking for a new car, I was trying to get the lien release for my old car from my bank, which I had loaned from. Well, that took a million years. It took forever. And the car dealership where I was like looking at this one car was like bugging me like daily, like, are you gonna buy this car? Are you gonna buy this car? Are you gonna buy this car? You should just buy this car. Don't worry about like getting, because I was getting $12,000. $12,000 for my old car, which is like amazing, like because I only paid like $10,000 for it. So, and I had paid my car off, which is awesome. I had just paid my car off in February and I wrecked it in April or May, something like that. Last day of April, May. Anyway, didn't even think I wrecked it that bad and ended up being totaled, which is really cool. But it was my fault, I have to say. It was my fault. The car dealership wanted me to not wait for my title to come in so that I could get the payment from my insurance company. They were just like, don't worry about it, it's gonna be fine. Even though my payment was like $500 or whatever. My payment would have been $500 without the down payment from my old car. And I was like, I can't afford that, it's so expensive. Like, and I was about to do it, and then finally my lien release came in. Finally I got my title. Finally, like everything just came together all in one day. Like within like 12 hours it came together, and I got my money for my insurance, and I was able to go in, sign the papers for the new car, put $10,000 down on a new car. So once all that was like finally done, it was like another thing that was like very, very, very stressful, that I finally was like, oh, I can breathe. Finally, I got this huge sigh of relief, this huge like weight lifted off my shoulders, like, okay, it's gonna be okay. And like one of my friends said, like, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. And I got more money than what I paid for the car, which is awesome. Two, that car like represented a lot of like trauma from like family and stuff. Like technically, like maybe it was like a good thing that this happened, even though it sucked and it was very stressful. And I did everything all by myself, which I've never had to do before, which was really stressful. But I learned that I can do it. I learned what to do, what not to do, as far as like buying new cars and things like that. I hate car shopping. I absolutely hate it. Luckily, this was like the first car that I test drove. It was exactly what I was looking for, that kind of thing. So thankfully I didn't have to like bounce from, you know, dealership to dealership to, you know, figure out what was right for me. So thank God for that. As I said, because of all those things, I fell into like this deep, deep depression and had horrible, horrible anxiety that was like really overwhelming. It was a very low point in my mental health. It was probably the lowest I've been in several years. And I didn't like really talk about it like with my friends or anything because I just felt, and I know they don't think this, but I was so low that I couldn't not think it. I allowed myself, I had fallen so deeply into this depression that I didn't believe anything that my rational mind would have told me. Do you know what I mean? So I just didn't tell anybody, and I dealt with it on my own with my therapist. And I was really going through it hard. So I on top of the eating stuff, I also stopped exercising because I just didn't have the time to fit that into my mental capacity. It was not in my wheelhouse to deal with at that point. It was, even though it would have made me feel better, it would have helped me with stress and anxiety, it was another pressure for me. Just doing this was another pressure for me. And I stopped doing things that I really liked to do, like this. I stopped taking much of an interest in makeup, even though it's always been a source of relaxation for me. So when that happens, that I'm probably not going through a good time right now, when I stop really enjoying what I'm doing, that's when I know it's not good. And I kind of let everything get away from me, including my, not just my mental health, but my physical health, my and just doing things around my apartment to clean. That was a big one. My apartment didn't get disgusting or anything. It was just all of a sudden, kind of once I started to come out of this depression and feel a little better, I started looking around and just being what happened? Everything just kind of piled up, literally, clothes and stuff not getting put away, and it was just clutter upon clutter upon clutter. So I'm slowly digging myself out again, and I'm currently working on getting rid of a bunch of clothes that don't fit me anymore, because why keep them if they don't fit, It's just making me feel bad about myself. It's holding on to the past, this past person that I used to be, which I'm still working through therapy. It's I miss the person that I used to be, but I also know that we all grow and change and develop as we get older, and I think I'm just having a hard time letting that person go. And so getting rid of these clothes is kind of a representation of letting that person go and trying to be okay with that. So saying all that stuff out loud, it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but it was a lot to deal with. I was also, I don't sleep well. I never have, but other than the last 2 nights, the past few months, I have not been sleeping more than 4 hours a night. So very tired all of the time. I've talked to my doctor about this, so we have a plan, and we've increased medication and all of that. So fingers crossed for me that all works out. I'm slowly feeling better every day. I'm not out of the woods yet. Like, I went into a deep dark hole that I don't like being in. And I had really awful thoughts. And I hope that I don't ever have those again. But because I've had like trips planned and like lots of things to do, I'm feeling better. I'm slowly like getting to a place where I'm, like I said, feeling better and getting into like a routine. I'm gonna start exercising again, if nothing else, but to make myself feel better, like mentally. Try not to focus on the physical part of all of that, but it is hard. I'm not gonna deny that. I've been to several concerts. I got to see Debbie Gibson, like literally, she was right in front of me, like 2 feet in front of me. It was incredible. Like, she was my childhood idol, and I was freaking out. I have her set list. I want to like hang it somewhere. I don't know, maybe in the background. So we got to see OAR. We got to go to see Dispatch like last week. I'm going to another concert on Tuesday, and then the 26th. And then in September, I'm going to 2 concerts, I think. Seeing my friends often really helps. I just need to sustain that feeling. So I'm going to be working with my therapist on like staying active, sustaining this good feeling that I'm having right now. Not great, but good. Content, but not happy. And really, honestly, like that's all I ever ask for, is just to feel contentment, to be satisfied with where I am. And right now, I'm not like fully satisfied, but I feel pretty good. So I just need to sustain that, and I need to figure out how. And I think one of the things is by getting back to like my routines, like exercising and journaling and that kind of thing. My therapist recommended that I make some new friends, and not saying like I'm leaving my old friends in the dust, but make some friends that maybe don't have kids, that have a little more open schedules, so that like in the fall, when their kids are involved in like 100 million things, like I'm not sitting there like waiting for them to do stuff. Like I have people to like expand my social circle a little bit. And I'm open to that. It's a little harder when you're in your 30s to like make new friends, but I'm kind of like stepping outside my comfort zone with a lot of things. I might be going to a couple concerts by myself. Makes me very nervous because I've never done something like that before. But also like it is a chance to like meet new people. I joined a couple like fan groups on Facebook, and said for this one concert, I said like, hey, anybody going? Like I'm thinking about going by myself. Like what are your thoughts on this? And like, can we meet up beforehand and like hang out so that I don't feel so alone? And everybody was so receptive and so sweet and so kind, and I was really appreciative of that. Expanding my circle a little bit. Doing something outside my comfort zone for sure. Well, I'm gonna finish up this look off camera. I'm gonna do liner, mascara, and lashes, and I will be back. This is the final look. I really like it. I think it matches really well because of my earrings. I really like the purple. The purple is like super vibrant in this palette, and the greens are really vibrant. I mean, this is such a pretty palette. If you want me to do more with this on camera, I am more than happy to do that. If you want to see a couple looks with the Muse palette, let me know. I will be happy to do that as well. But I think this is a gorgeous palette. I've used quite a bit of the colors. I haven't used this moss color, mossy green, or I'm trying to think, or earth. haven't used those two colors yet, but I plan on using it quite a bit. So let me know what you want to see. Follow me on Instagram if you want me to do like a pick my eyeshadow kind of thing. That would be fun. I might do that. So follow me there so that you can get updates there. I'm trying to get back into doing reels and TikTok. That might take a little while because I have to edit some things, but I've got lots of content for that. I just need to be consistent, that's all. And I'd like to get 1 to 2 videos up a week. I think that's kind of like my max at this point. Not having a computer to edit on makes it kind of hard and takes a really long time to edit. So if I had a computer, it'd probably be a little bit easier for me to get more videos out. But that's what I'm saying for now. 1 to 2 videos a week would be like my ideal right now. Vlogs. Do you want to see them? I really have been wanting to do them, but I'm like nervous. If that's something you want to see, let me know. I've got, like I said, I've got a couple concerts coming up, so maybe I'll try to vlog. I can let you know what my experience going to these concerts by myself has been. We'll see. And yeah, cheesy my crush. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment on the video, do the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do to get you to watch my videos and to interact. Really helps my channel out, gets my content out there. So please make sure you do all those things. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble once again about how crappy my mental health has been. Hopefully we're out of the clear. Hopefully the rest of 2023 is a lot better. I'm really hoping. I really need it. And I hope 2023 is kind to you, especially. So I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye.